First time I heard a Bigfoot was at this lake, and I forget the lake's name, but I was just sitting down. My dad was making the fire, and I was right next to him in the chair, sitting down, and I just heard this. Ooh.
I started this documentary after finding an ad on Craigslist titled Sasquatch Fact Finders out of Veneta, Oregon. A man new to the Willamette Valley was looking for people interested in caving, backcountry exploration, and Sasquatch.
My name's Ken Gentry. You can find me everywhere. Our focus here has always been exploration. And we don't necessarily go out on just Bigfoot trips. What we tend to do is we go out on our trips if we're going caving or if we're exploring or if we're looking for some other legendary thing in our environments. We always keep Bigfoot and any other legendary creatures, there's many of them that may live in these forests, in our thoughts.
Ken is still in the process of getting a crew together, and he plans to start exploring the Oregon wilderness this spring. Toby Johnson is an amateur Sasquatch researcher living in Springfield, Oregon. He discovered the London Trackway, the world's largest single collection of Sasquatch footprints ever found.
Yeah, that was south of Eugene in a place called London, which is a subsection outside of Cottage Grove. Me and my son really that took the time and the effort to go down there and see them for ourselves, that we thought, well, these are either or, these are, some really good fakes, and, or these are the real deal. I actually, went immediately there with some plaster. I'd never cast footprints before, and it was the first time. And 3 footprints ended up being a 4th footprint that wasn't reported, kind of hidden in the brush. And then by the next morning, we found 118 more. We have a $1,000 reward out for anybody that can come forward and show us how they hoax these, but they're not hoaxed.
When Toby offered to take us out squatching, I jumped at the prospect, in love with the idea of something in our world yet to be discovered. But Justin was less than enthused.
Oh yeah, I was really nervous to go out squatching. I had no idea what was gonna happen. I was kind of freaked out. I didn't know the people very well. Wasn't really ready for it. Going out and actually looking for Bigfoot and essentially looking for trouble, I guess, just kind of isn't really my thing.
But I went up anyway. As Toby set up camp, his son took us out to show us what they suspected to be an elk that fell victim to Sasquatch.
When we were here, we couldn't find the head like usual.
Mm-hmm. Was it just all scattered out like it is right now?
Yeah, there's more back here.
Oh, jeez. After setting up for camp, we began to interview Toby about Sasquatch and his involvement.
I actually ended up being really surprised with the amount of people that said, well, there has to be an original dollar bill for there to be a counterfeit. If that is a counterfeit, this is, this is a real phenomena because I've seen one. And that totally blew me away. I'd never met a witness before. I thought, just probably like a lot of people do, that they were cut out of one cookie cutter, and that was not at all where it wound up. And so that really fascinated me. And so I really opened my mind to the fact that it was possible, and started to go out in the field with people like my buddy that I brought out in the woods here, John, who was a witness.
After Toby revealed that John was a witness, we knew that it was a must to interview him.
My fear really grew about when I started to hear John's story about Bigfoot.
We went to this place in Kaiser Wilderness. It was on the backside at Kaiser Creek, and I got out. Me and my brother said, this looked like a nice area. Maybe we'll camp here. And I don't think we made it maybe 100 yards out of the camp, and we saw these footprints going up the side of basically a mountain. It looked like a big footprint. And then as I started looking down, maybe about 10, 11 feet further away, there was another one, but I was still not willing to believe that this was a giant footprint. We kept going, and there's just one after another. Instantly, I was a believer. It was no longer, hey, let's go out and see what's out there, blah, blah, blah. You know, this stuff's frozen in the mud, and I'm walking in the footprints. And we went back, and it rained, and it was sleeting, and it just destroyed the prints. There was nothing, you know, and I was kind of bummed out. Said, I'm going to go up the road a little bit. I went up the trail maybe a mile, I'd say, around the next bend, and then I saw a footprint right in the middle of the trail. And, you know, my eyes kind of... And then I heard... It sounded like a lizard running through the leaves. And as I'm looking up, this dark area starts taking shape, and it's a torso. The thing was sitting right there looking at me. The closest I could describe it that somebody would recognize would be kind of like the old King Kong, but then it started getting mad. It made a woofing sound. I don't know what else to say. It sounded like a woof. And I jumped back, and I'm like probably about 8 feet away from it. And that's when I took off and ran up the trail in the wrong direction. I thought I was dead. And I told my brother, you know, it's like, well, are we going to pack up and try and get out of here? The roads I seen, it was just a windy road on a cliff all the way. Or are we just going to build a fire 10 times the size of that? If anything would have came, I'd have shot it. After that, I was so unnerved, and that was the longest night of my life. I haven't been camping since.
Started hearing these howling noises. Like, they said it was like owls, but some of them didn't sound like owls, or at least owls that I've ever heard.
It's just coming face to face with another animal. I mean, that's the kids.
No, it's not. There's an owl, or what we think is an owl.
Sounded like an owl.
Out here right now, but as John will tell you, and I've heard, there's, 500-pound owl sounds.
You should probably get the kids closer to camp.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're in a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can see the fear in John's face right now.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little freaked out too. I got freaked out. I was scared, honestly. I did not know what was gonna happen. I just was like, I need to get out of here because I got freaked out. It was scary to me. Like, everything was just like so like honest, I guess. And it like really kind of made me like think about it differently. It became more like realistic in my eyes, I guess. And it just like, because of that, like, it just freaked me out.
What if you never get proof?
Oh well, I'll keep looking.